I'm here with season 13 runner-up of The Masked Singer and the artist formerly known as Boogie Woogie, Andy Grammer. Andy, that was a tough battle. What were your thoughts when you were standing there at the very end, waiting for Nick to just say the winner? How long did that feel?
It felt long. Definitely, I'm very competitive, so I can't say I didn't care, but there is something about being in a huge mascot monster costume that just kind of like brings the vibe to a chill place. Like you're very aware that like while the music is telling me this is the most important thing in the world, I'm aware that this is so fun and ridiculous that like let's whatever it is great. It's so fun to be here.
So you're competitive. Did you go in this like in it to win it from the beginning, or did the fire start burning a little more the closer you got to the end?
I think that the biggest fear was if you don't go all out, then you're really in danger. Like if you're not having a blast in a boogie woogie costume, that's awkward, right? Like if you're like halfway trying and not really like you have to go full tilt all the way, slide on your knees, go crazy, and then whatever happens happens, and then it's fun.
Did you have any idea that you were standing next to Gretchen Wilson?
No, they don't let you know anything.
So you could you hear? I mean, did you have any idea about
Can't even really hear like you're behind anybody who knows who's been to shows like if you're side stage is like not a great place to watch and they wouldn't let you go side stage, you're like back behind the stage, so you hear like through muffled tones you hear like the crowd screaming or you can kind of tell what song they're singing, but you can't hear much more than that. Yeah.
and the panelists were all over the place guessing who you were. I mean, Adam Lambert,
Yeah.
Andy Samberg, Chris Angel,
Yeah, they went all over the place.
and then some good ones like Ryan Tedder, Chris Martin. What were your thoughts when they were saying because they never guessed you?
They didn't guess me. Like I've been saying, it's really funny because like it's all ridiculous, but in the mask, it would be funny to see like they go like, oh, he looks pretty tall. He looks like he's an athlete, and I'm in there like, yeah, no, honestly, I do kind of feel like I'm sure my wife is like laughing so hard. Or they say you look like someone who's like got an incredible voice. And you're like, yeah, man, that does feel pretty good. Like it's so silly. The whole thing is just ridiculous. It was really fun.
Who were your like biggest musical influences growing up?
Well, I mean, Ryan Tedder was a huge one. I've got to write a couple of songs with him, and that's been amazing. But like he was someone that I would, when I started as a street performer, I would just study all of One Republic's and whatever he was writing for everybody else, like songwriting wise, studying pre-choruses, choruses, bridges. Why is he doing melodies like this? So he's one of my bigger inspirations for sure.
What was that moment like going from street performer? Like what was the moment where you first were like, okay, I think that I've made it. Like when did you feel secure, a sense of security in life?
In art, it's like always it's always a little bit of insanity, and so I think though, having started as a street performer, when you go on your first tour and people show up in cities that you haven't been to before, you go like, oh, something's happening here that's really special, and I'm just so grateful.
And when you hear people sing your songs, I'm sure that's cool to see that they know the
Yeah,
words.
that's pretty wild because to do you write songs?
No, I wish.
No. The way that it works is you're in a room and you don't know what you're going to write about, and then you just start throwing stuff against the wall, and most of it's terrible. And if you do that enough, then you might get something that feels like, oh, I think this is good. It's such the odds are so against that being something that large crowds will sing that when it does happen, you're like, it's a dream. It's amazing.
And you just released the Friends and Family Sessions EP featuring tracks from the Monster album from last fall and then some of your multi-platinum hits. What can you share about that? What are you excited about to share with this?
Really fun to strip it back to get to, I produced that and to get to bring in musicians and go for a super minimalist approach with these songs that I love. Just let's like let them breathe a little bit and air it out. Like I'm all about the lyric. I usually start mostly on lyric, and so when you strip things down, that even shines more. So it was a really fun artistic thing to do.
And you're going on tour, amphitheater tour. That sounds fun.
Yeah, we're heading out on tour in the summer. It's gonna be awesome.
How many dates do we got? Where can people like?
Yeah, go to andygrammer.com. I think there's probably 20 to 25 dates all across the U.S. And the summer tours are always, a lot of them are outside, and it's just like the best vibe ever. It's like so fun.
And a few shows with Shania Twain, I heard.
Yes, who is the queen, clearly.
Have you had any sort of relationship with her? Is this new?
We sang at the White House together a couple years ago, and I've run into her a couple times, so it'll be really fun to connect with her again.
The number one happy pop artist on Spotify. I didn't know that was a thing, but that is you. And
I
you have
didn't know this either.
billions of views on TikTok, and like over 3 billion streams on like all these platforms. What does that mean to you to be considered the happy pop artist?
Man, what it means to me is that like it's actually really sweet that when people feel sad, sometimes they'll go and put on my music and it will affect their day. That is unbelievable. Honestly, that's unbelievable. That's the best thing that could ever be. I
It's not
love
a
it.
bad title at
I
all.
really love it. Yeah. I wear it proudly.